Good morning, students. Today we are going to do the last part of French Revolution. In this, we are going to do about the role of women in French Revolution and about the revolution and everyday life, then abolition of slavery. So today, first part in this is women's clubs. We have studied earlier that during the French Revolution, many organizations, many clubs were formed by many men. At the same time, many women also started many political clubs. So, women started their own political clubs and newspapers to discuss and voice their interests. About 60 women clubs came up in France cities, and the most famous of them was the Society of Revolutionary and Republican Women. The main demand of these women's clubs were the women wanted that there should be political equality as well as right to education. So the right to vote, right to be elected to the assembly, right to hold political office, and right to education. These were some of the demands of the women's political clubs. But the revolutionary government did introduce laws to help improve the status of women. Initially, when the revolutionary government was formed, they have introduced some laws in favor of women. For example, along with creation of state schools, schooling was made compulsory even for all the girls. They now could not be forced into marriage by their fathers against their wills. Marriage was made a contract, and later on there was also a civil law which gave right for divorce. So divorce was made legal, which could be applied by both men and women. Women could now train for jobs and could now become artists and also run small business. In the initial stage of the revolution, women always participated in struggle, thinking that it would pressurize the government to introduce measures to improve their lives. Many third estate women who were very poor worked for a very long hours just for getting small wages. They were not educated, hence most of them worked as maids or they used to sell flowers, etc. Only some of the daughters of nobles could study at a convent, after which their families used to arrange a marriage for them. So that is the reason that many women started many political clubs and also started writing in newspapers. That is how they started the clubs and writing newspapers. And the main demands, as I have done, was to get the political equality, that is, right to vote, right to be elected to the assembly. They also should have right to hold political offices and also right to education. Among them, women's struggle for equal political right continued. Jacobin's government issued laws ordering closure of all women's clubs and banning their political activities. We have seen Jacobins Club, and the leader of the Jacobins Club also, Robespierre, who started the Reign of Terror. During that Reign of Terror, the government of Robespierre ordered to close all the clubs and ban their political activities. Not only this, many women leaders were arrested and executed also. But women's movement for voting continued for many years, and this movement also became the international movement. Women's movement for voting rights and equal wages continued for next 200 years in many countries of the world. Not only in France, this movement had spread to many European countries. The fight for the right to vote was carried out through an international suffrage movements during the late 19th and the early 20th century. So now it is not that only in France there were political clubs. Such political clubs became famous and international political clubs were framed for the fight or for the justice for the women. It was finally in 1946 that the women got the right to vote in France. Here I have mentioned about a woman political activist, that is Ghosh. Her name is Ghosh. What has she done for the country? She protested against the Constitution and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizens, as they had excluded women from basic rights that each human being was entitled to. Earlier, we have done that when the Constitution was framed in France, they have made a declaration of the rights of man and citizens. In those declarations, there is no mention about the women's rights. So, this women protested against this. In 1791, she wrote a declaration for the rights of women and citizens. If you see the name also, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizens, it was there. So this woman, she also wrote another declaration for the rights of women and citizens, which she addressed to the Queen and the members of the National Assembly, demanding that they act upon it. She asked the Assembly, National Assembly, that to follow even this declaration for the rights of women. In 1793, she also criticized the Jacobin government for forcibly closing down women's clubs. We have seen that the Jacobins government, head of that is a Robespierre, he asked that all the women's clubs should be closed. So this woman, she also protested against this. But she was tried by the National Convention. She was charged with treason and executed soon after. This is one example that how Robespierre's government had caught the women, and they were produced in the court and they were finally executed. In her declaration for the rights of women and citizens, what did she mention? She declared that women is born free and is equal to men and women. For everyone, it is equality, equal representation of women, representatives in formulation of laws. She wanted that there should be equal amount of women as per men when the laws were framed, and that even the employment must be according to the abilities and without any other distinction. It's not that only men should be given the jobs or the higher authorities in the country. Even the women can be given based on their distinctions, based on their merits. So that's an example of a woman. We continue with the next part, that is part 5 of your chapter, the abolition of slavery. Here you are going to study that in France, or you can say in European countries, In earlier days, there was a system called as slavery. Now, how this slave trade used to take place, that is we are going to do. The colonies in Caribbean, that is Martinique, Guadeloupe and San Domingo, were important suppliers of tobacco, indigo, sugar and coffee. When we talk about these tobacco, indigo, sugar and coffee, these all are commercial products. Even there are plantation crops also, like coffee, indigo, tobacco, these come under even the plantation crops nowadays. At those times also in European countries. As the Europeans were reluctant to go and work in unfamiliar distant lands, this led to a shortage of labor on the plantations. We have studied that Britain, it was ruling upon America at that time. Not only America, many European countries were ruling in many other continents also. For example, Africa was under their control, European control. America was under the European control. So at that time, lot of plantations were developed in America. A lot of plantation units were there in America, but there was no labor to work there. And no European wanted to go to the far off lands in America and work over there. So at that time, Europeans thought to start a slave trade. So what they used to do is they used to pick the people from Africa, because on Africa also they were ruling. They used to pick the people forcefully from Africa and they were packed into the ships and they were taken into far off lands in America to work over there. So that is how the slave trade started. So this was met by triangular slave trade. Now what is this called as? It is called as triangular slave trade. Why? Because it was between three continents. That is, Europeans used to pick the people from Africa and they were taken to America and the profits were taken by Europe. So if you draw it, you will get a triangular shape here of the slave trade. That is why it is called as triangular slave trade. The slave trade began in the 17th century when the French merchants sailed from the ports of Bordeaux or Nantes to the African coast, where they brought slaves from the local chieftains. What did these French merchants used to do? They used to come to the African coast and from there they used to buy these African slaves. And the slaves were bought from the local leaders. In Africa also there were local leaders. So those local leaders used to sell the people of Africa. They were sold like slaves, branded and shackled. The slaves are packed tightly into ships. Now, how were these people were tightly packed? They were completely packed in the ships and they were taken to the far off lands to America through the sea routes. And it used to take 3 months long voyage across the Atlantic Sea to the Caribbean. And after going there to Caribbean, they were sold to the plantation owners. And you know, if a slave is sold, what work is expected from that slave? He was made to work for several hours and sometimes they were not given even proper wages also. So, the exploitation of slave labor made it possible to meet the growing demand in the European market for sugar, coffee, indigo and tobacco. Because of these slaves were made to work for several hours, whatever was there, the demand for these products, sugar, coffee, indigo and tobacco, they were met in European market. The port cities like Bordeaux and Nantes saw economic prosperity due to this flourishing slave trade. In France, there are two ports which are called as Bordeaux and or Nantes. from these ports, the merchants used to travel to Africa. So these ports also flourished. Throughout the 19th century, there was almost no criticism of slavery. Nobody was against this slavery because the merchants enjoyed so much of profits. And the National Assembly held long debates about whether the right of the man should be extended to all French people, even those working in the colonies. So when National Assembly framed the constitution, they have debated about this issue, whether even these slaves should be given the rights or not. No laws were passed. Even at that time, when the National Assembly framed the constitution, no laws were passed in favor of these slaves because they were afraid. There may be a opposition from the businessmen whose income dependent on the slave trade, because businessmen are very rich. They are the main part of the society who used to give lot of taxes to the government. So if anything is done against the businessman, if the slave trade is removed, the businessman will not get the profit. So that is why even National Assembly could not pass any kind of laws for these slaves, in favor of slaves. It was finally the convention which in 1794 legislated to free all the slaves in the French overseas lands. Finally, in 1794, in the all the slaves, there was a law made that all the slaves should be released. They should be freed from the overseas lands. That means wherever they were working in America or wherever, whichever part. This was, however, a short-term plan, but this could not remain for a longer time. The convention, which came after the National Assembly, the government of the convention, they passed this. They tried to remove the slavery, but again it was introduced by Napoleon. This was, however, a short-term plan as Napoleon reintroduced slavery because he also wanted so much of profits. Plantation owners understood their freedom as including the right to enslave African Negroes in pursuit of their economic interest. Napoleon believed that these Negroes are from Africa, so these Negroes should be slaved. Then only they can meet their economic interest, then only they can get the profit. But after the end of Napoleonic era, finally in 1848, slavery was abolished in France. So children, please learn about slave trade, especially the triangular slave trade. Next part, the effect of the revolution on the everyday life of the people of France. This is the last part of the chapter, that what was the effect of this revolution and everyday life. Whatever revolution happened in France, how did it affect the people of France? The revolutionary ideas of equality and liberty. We have seen that when there was revolution, they framed certain terms, they coined certain terms like equality and liberty, which became very famous. They have transformed the clothes the people wore, language they spoke, and the books they read. When the people used to read about the books, they used to, even their language changed. The way of language means the way they used to speak, that has changed. That has changed their minds, even their clothing. With the abolition of censorship in 1789 and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizens in 1791, freedom of speech became a natural right. Abolition of censorship means abolition on any kind of restriction on the press. Any kind of press means news. There was free flow of news. Freedom of speech was given to the people, which became a natural right. Even the people could write, the newspaper agencies could write anything in the newspapers and books and pamphlets. So that is the meaning of abolition of censorship. Freedom of press enabled voicing of opinions and counter opinions. People started putting their opinions in the newspapers and the magazines. It was sometimes in favor, sometimes it was even against the government. Art flourished in the form of paintings, plays, songs, and festive processions. Visual and oral art form enabled even the common man who could not read and write. They were at that time some illiterates also in European countries, in France also. Now, how could they know about the liberty or equality, about these things? They could know about them through the visual art. That means the paintings, through them they can even understand about what is the meaning of what is equality, what is justice, what is liberty. In your book there are 2 pages where all the pictures are shown over there, so even an illiterate can understand about these all these kind of gestures which are given in there. French Revolution marked an end to absolute monarchy and paved the way for the republican government. It helped to uphold the theory of popular sovereignty and laid the foundations of democratic principles. Now, this is the impact of French Revolution in France. So, what was the impact of this revolution in France itself? There was republican government. People started recognizing democratic principles. There were slogans of liberty, equality, justice, which became the important terms in the constitution and the history of France. People were given the right to vote during the Jacobins, and new reforms were introduced in education of girls. Feudalism and serfdom were abolished and the power of clergy curbed. This all we have already done. Examples, even in India, some of the leaders were very inspired. Leaders like Tipu Sultan and Raja Ram Mohan Roy responded positively to the ideas coming from revolutionary France. These leaders identified the terms which were coined in France like equality, fraternity, liberty. Even our constitution is drawn. Some of the good ethics were taken from the French Revolution. And we come to the last part of the chapter, how the Napoleon rule ended. We have studied after the Jacobins clubs, there was a directory which ruled the France. Because the directory could not rule for a longer time, there was no government which was continuing ruling for many years. There were frequent changes in the governments. At that time, Napoleon had taken an advantage and he became the dictator of the country. Napoleon came to power in France due to the unstable directly that ruled France, which we have done. He crowned himself as the Emperor of France in 1804. He set out to conquer the neighboring countries. His main aim was to conquer all the European countries, dispossessing dynasties and putting his family members there. He used to, for example, if he used to occupy one country, one of his family member was put as the king or queen over there in that part. He was seen as the modernizer of Europe. People started looking at him that he is the modernizer of the Europe. He is going to change the face of the Europe because of the laws he introduced. He introduced some of the laws which were really good in favor of the people. For example, protection of private property. Earlier, property was in the hands of the government. Now he said everybody can have the property. A uniform system of weights and measures provided by the decimal system. He introduced even a system of equal weights and measures for measuring different goods, etc. He was seen as the liberator by many as he would bring freedom to the people. When he used to conquer any land, the people used to feel happy that somebody has come who is going to make them free. It was not actually, but the people used to think that he is the one who has come to save them. Soon his army was everywhere, viewed as an invading force. He carried out military campaigns and invasions and soon became a threat to the kings of Europe, who finally decided to come together and defeat him. He defeated many parts of the Europe, many kings he defeated, and he occupied many parts of Europe. So his main aim was achieved. He could occupy a large part of Europe. At that time, many of the European kings realized the threat and they thought of uniting together and defeating him together. Finally, Napoleon was defeated at Waterloo in 1815. Children, Waterloo is a place in Belgium. Napoleon was defeated in this place by the Duke of Wellington. Duke means the Prince of the Wellington, who was also helped by other European kings. So finally, he was defeated in the War of Waterloo in 1815. That is the end of French Revolution. So children, go through all the videos which I have done till now in French Revolution. Go through at least once or twice before you do these questions which are given at this end of the chapter. You can click a photo and keep these questions with you. So that's how you can go through the questions which are given all over here. Answer the following questions. We have here few more questions. Other than reading the chapter, you can do these question answers. That's all, children. That completes our chapter French Revolution. Have a good day, students.